already left a review about Dot and Bubble, Doctor Who, a bootleg Black Mirror episode, as people are calling it, but I thought it interesting to see things from the showrunner's point of view, and somebody did comment saying that it wasn't intended to be a race thing. It could be seen as social media and more classism. And I ordinarily would think the same thing if this show and its showrunners and its marketing didn't obsess on what we had between our legs and what color we were. And just for proof, let's hear things from the showrunner. And this is why we have to let people know this, because this isn't right. I understand from people's point of view, individuals like Russell T. Davies could be seen as very progressive, but in fact, because of his intolerant and narrow perceptions of the world, which he tries to pretend is actually inclusive, it's actually making him look quite prejudiced and racist, because that's the only thing that he focuses on. That is the thing that is most important, and the only lens he seems to view people through. So in an article, there's several articles actually talking about this, but it mentions that the series showrunner spoke about this week's episode, Dot and Bubble, on the behind-the-scenes show Doctor Who Unleashed, where he talked about the ending that saw Gatwa's doctor confronted by racist attitudes from a group of privileged teens who he was trying to save from giant man-eating slugs. If you guys are curious about this episode, that featured a concept that with the right writers who were actually passionate and respectful, could make it work, check out my review on it. I do get very passionate with my reviews, so just bear that in mind, but oh lord. I'll get into why this is very problematic in a minute, but you'll see here that this is exactly what Russell T. Davies intended. So, this quote, "What we can't tell is how many people will work that out before the ending, because we've seen white person after white person after white person, and the television these days is very diverse. I wonder, will you be 10 minutes into it? Will you be 15 or will you be 20 before you start to think everyone in this community is white? And if you don't think that, why didn't you?" So that's going to be interesting, and I hope it's going to be one of those pieces of television you'll see and always remember. Now, I'm going to say this because the very fact that he's saying this is an issue, imagine if this was from the lens of another nation or another color. You've seen Asian people after Asian people after Asian people. You've seen Korean person after Korean person after Korean person. You see Nigerian person after Nigerian person after Nigerian person. Because remember, white people are not the majority in every single country. There are nations for a reason. I cannot believe we actually are having conversations like this. It makes no freaking sense. The only reason why I picked it up almost immediately is because shows like Doctor Who and people like Russell T. Davies usually focus on that so freaking much. I grew up in a culture in my country where the majority isn't what it is here in the US, but nobody focuses on race. Yes, there is classism. There is that. But guess what? In that classist society, there are people of every ethnicity. And even with the majority of the native people in that place, they don't care, because they have people in their families as well that are mixed. And those people, you can have someone that is mixed in the poorer areas and someone who is mixed in the richer areas or upper middle class, which is what my family was in. We're considered poor to the rich people. And they can have completely opposing feelings about each other because of the class that they're at. I straight up had someone tell me after speaking with him at my cashier job, when we were talking, he realized I was from the same country, that I wasn't really a member of that country because I don't know hard life. He asked me where I grew up and I told him, and he's like, "Oh, you were one of those preppy kids," in our language. And he's like, "Yeah, you're not a real this. You're not one of us." And he said the word in our language for basically, how do I translate it? Like someone who's really from our country. And I was very hurt by that because I didn't say anything when he told me when he was from. It's never entered my mind to be like, "Oh, ew, you're one of them." That's not how I grew up. My father never treated people like that because he grew up as one of those poor people. But it doesn't matter because you still will have people that will look at you like that, and it's very hurtful. He didn't mean it in a malicious way, but it was very ignorant. And it doesn't matter if people are looking at you through race, class, color, because there is colorism within communities too of the same ethnicity. That's a big thing people don't talk about. Hell, there's texturism. People have different texture hair. It doesn't matter what it is, what the tribal mentality is. It's still ignorant. And what I do like, though, is at least with my country, people didn't see skin color. So that's not something I was exposed to until I came to the US, which ironically, you would think that people would try to move forward past that, since Martin Luther King, one of the legends here, claimed that that people shouldn't be judged by the color of their skin, by the content of their character, but yet as progressive people, we're trying to make people see people's color and orientation when before we're trying to work past that so people see us as more than the color of our skin and who we want to have sex with. So with Russell T. Davies saying something like this, not only does it come off very ignorant because he's somehow implying that a community of white people is bad or a nation of white people is bad, since, you know, you do have countries like Sweden and places like Denmark, Scandinavia, like they have a majority white population, just like you have dark-skinned populations in other parts of the country, and olive skin tones populations, Italians, Koreans, Japan. Nobody has a problem with those, but when it's specifically white-skinned people, there's a problem with it. It's very, very disgusting and intolerant. Why would it be an issue if people don't recognize that? And the fact that I was able to pick that up very quickly is a problem. It must mean that you were focusing too much on skin color. I was actually more shocked. I was thinking, you know what I was thinking to myself, and this is how you know it's bad? Wow. I'm surprised that Doctor Who is showing a cast full of white people. Something must be wrong. They must be racist, or they must be evil. That's what I was thinking. They must be evil. There has to be some angle here because Doctor Who is obsessed with skin color, which should not be what I should be thinking. So this is not the gotcha you think it is. Like, you're like, oh, people will always remember this. No, first of all, they won't, because this episode was dumb. After we all talk about it because of our little outrage and first world problems, we're gonna quickly forget about it because it was disgusting. Millie Gibson, who plays Ruby Sunday, says that reveal at the end, it was heartbreaking. You'd probably do realize it's the moment you look around and everyone is white. Bitch, so are you! Okay? What is this? I'm sorry. I'm not even trying to be professional. I'm not gonna lie. This is so weird. What the fuck? Have you ever considered that it might be a planet or nation of people that just might happen to have white skin? Would you go to an African country like Rwanda or Tanzania or Ethiopia and be like, oh my fucking days, everybody around here is dark skinned, what the fuck? Like, why would you think that? If you don't expect that when you go to one of those countries that you're gonna see the majority of the population be a certain skin color, why would you expect any different with a nation that has a majority of that skin color, which I think Britain and those areas still fall into? That is so strange to me that people are saying this. And by a white showrunner, or it doesn't matter if he's white or not, whatever color, the fact that you are trying to make people have an issue with skin color means that you're trying to make people see skin color only. And I'm sorry, but there is such a thing as torture porn. When these supposed progressive showrunners or movie creators cast a black lead and always put them in a situation where they're victims of racism. It's like they need to write them that way. You can't just let a black person live. They always have to either, oh my God, people are racist against them. Let's let them live through that. Yes, you're black, so you must play a role that for people being racist against you. That is the only purpose you serve. Do you know how dehumanizing that is? He is a black doctor, and instead of you coming at the angle with a story and coming up with something creative and saying that he's an alien and people don't like him, whatever the case is, you must make it about skin color, which would not make sense for the doctor to be upset about something like that, because he claimed earlier on in the music episode that he's experienced everything, so why would he be all outraged and shocked that these people are prejudiced against him? Furthermore, why are you doing that to the first black doctor that you're portraying? Why are you making everything about his race right now? Like, what? You just had to put one of those in. The actor seems to see everything through that lens already in his real life, which, okay, that's his prerogative. But then you, knowing that, place him in a role where he has to experience it in the role that he's playing. Is that the only role you feel that black people are made for? And they do the same thing with Native Americans too. They always put them in a role where, oh, they're against the white man, look at how they're treating them. Like, that's the only lens that you see them through. You can't even just see them as being a person. They must always have the torture of being victims of racists. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And now, because that's inundated in media, now I'm always expecting it. Well, there's a black lead, oh, there's a white person, that white person's gonna be evil, and there's something racist that's gonna be said. It's gonna be about racism at some point in time. It's like they get off on that shit, and even the black community in America is talking up about it People don't say anything about it because they're like, oh, that doesn't exist. They make it seem as though those black people don't exist. But yes, the black community is speaking up. They're tired of it. You'll see it under comments of videos that are showing scenes like this. And a lot of them are saying, bro, why can't we just be treated as human beings? Why is it every role that a black person plays, most roles that a black person plays, it's gotta be we're slaves or we're a victim of racism? Like, why does it always have to be that? It's annoying, and it really shows a lot about the people running the show. If you are black and you're writing it, then you have not emancipated yourself from mental slavery. If you're a white person and you're doing it, that means that you're probably racist because that's the only way that you see black people. It is so annoying. And in a show like Doctor Who, I figured they would be past something like this. People have an issue with this, and let me hear you tell the black community in America and the UK that have a problem with this that they're racist for having a problem with it. If you ask a black person this and they didn't notice that everyone is white, what are you gonna say to those people? Because you shouldn't. You should, even if you do notice it, the human and mature response is, oh, it must be a country where that's the nation of the people. Just like when you go to Mexico or you go to South America, certain countries in South America, you're gonna see people of a certain phenotype, mostly. It doesn't mean that they're not other people that exist of different skin color, but you're usually gonna see the features of people from that. Like, I can tell. You look at people who are from El Salvador, and you look at people who are from Italy, and you look at people from Korea, and you'll notice, oh my God, you can tell that they're from a different country. Isn't that beautiful that people can come from different geographical locations and have different adaptations to look a certain way based on their environment? Isn't that gorgeous? I think that is so beautiful. I think it is so beautiful. Our differences. That's what we should be celebrating. But you only celebrate it when it's people who are not white. You know, you can have diversity amongst white people, right? I've met people from Sweden, from France, from Spain, from Australia, from Greenland, and they're all different. They all have different cultures. A lot of them have different looks, different behaviors, different languages, but yet blanket white. How racist can you be? It is racist when you do it to dark-skinned people, and it is racist when you do it to white people. It is not a foreign concept. At least it shouldn't be someone who professes to be progressive. You're actually regressive if you're doing this. It is not right either way. And what you're doing is the teacher's pet syndrome situation, where you vilify the other students in the class and prop up the one that's not like the others and then point your finger and say, see guys, you're all disgusting. Look at my teacher's pet right here. See how she likes that? See how she bends over backwards to play the role I want her to play, and blah, blah, blah. And then it breeds resentment, which puts a target on minorities' backs. So it's almost like you're trying to get minorities bullied. Most minorities are not down with this. They're not. It doesn't matter what you see in the media. Most people, or maybe that's just through my bubble. Ironically, I know the series, the episode's called Dot and Bubble. Maybe that's just from what I've observed, but talking to real people on the street, they're not down with that. They just want to live their life. Nigerians, wildly successful. Caribbeans, they come to this country and they're like, all right, cool. You're white. Okay, cool. You're Chinese. Oh, I don't give a damn. Are you a good person? Do you work hard? That's what they care about. And for you to lump them all in the same box because they're dark skinned, it's really giving, you're probably kind of racist because it's only about their dark skin to you. That's the only thing that gives you any purpose, seeing the skin color of that person and judging them just based on that. And the same for white people. Maybe you as a white person, Mr. Davis, has some issues with your racism and that's why you're projecting it into your work. But I don't know who it is you're trying to fool, but you're telling on yourself, bro. It really is a bad look. It's a bad look. Stop making everything about race. We're not supposed to be seeing just ethnicity or skin color. The fact that we're seeing that and that you're marketing that is a problem. Then you have people being all like, oh my God, that was the best ending. I was so blown away. Oh, look how they're treating him. They're so racist. But you love it, don't you? You love watching the old white man be racist to the black man. Like, that's really important to y'all. Really important. It's just so odd. It's so odd. Like, I don't know how more people aren't seeing this. And that's why I make videos like this, to call it out, because this isn't entertainment. It's not. I don't know what it is, but it's not entertaining. It's annoying. It's degrading. I don't care that Doctor Who is now black. It shouldn't be about that. If you want, we know why people were upset with it in the beginning, because they're like, well, guess what? Black guy, see, he's black. Check it out, black dude. Was he selected because he's a good actor? I wanted, what's his name? The Master, the male version of the Master. Or not male version, but the hot Indian guy. I wanted him to be the Doctor. Oh God, I wanted him to be the Doctor so bad. He is so freaking handsome and so funny, and he embodies the Doctor. The bro feels more like the Doctor than this Doctor and Jodie Whittaker felt. I'm still waiting for Shigegawa to be the Doctor, and maybe that will come later, but Russell T Davies making this just about him being black and then giving us this episode, I feel hurts him. Because the Doctor is acting as though he's a human, dark-skinned person who grew up in London in the times when slavery was probably still there, which makes no freaking sense. And the look of disbelief in his face because he's dark-skinned, I don't even know what to say. I lack the words. I didn't write any of this down. I'm just confused. I'm so confused. Moving forward, because as I said in my review, I'm pretty sure this ain't gonna be the last time. It's not gonna be the last time we're gonna see something like this. Why didn't you do this with the other Doctors? I mean, maybe they have, because I didn't watch the very, very old Doctor Who's, but you know what? Maybe they didn't focus on all of that because it wasn't just about that. Those guys were given the opportunity to not make everything about their skin color, despite the fact that they have gone to different races. I mean, we have the Daleks that didn't like the Doctor, so you have that racism there. And the Doctor didn't make everything about, oh, I'm an alien, look how you're oppressing me. Oh my God, I don't have any control. So why are you making the Doctor, why are you making the black male Doctor go out like this, weak as shit? What are you trying to say, Russell? Anyway, I hope people can see past this. I mean, it's kind of hard when they're waving it in your face constantly, but let's go back to sci-fi. Hopefully, Shigegawa can get the opportunity to actually be the Doctor and be more than just his freaking skin color. Don't let this historical moment of the first male black Doctor be all about, look, the color of his skin, guys. He's gonna be treated with racism everywhere he goes. Like dark-skinned people are the only people who experience racism, which is clearly not the case based on the irony of this article and the irony of the reason this episode was made in the first place, to show how white people are horrible, while Ruby is sitting there in the back also acting like she doesn't share the same skin color as them. I'm so sick and tired of this, and a lot of people are. Can we please do better? At least if you want to tell racist stories, do it on every front, not just when black people are on screen or Native Americans are on screen. Notice Latino people don't have half of this shit happening to them, and they've experienced racism too. You don't see them bitching about it. Anyway.